Hello, I am here with a little video update on my UV exposure unit that I've been building over the past couple days. The electronics are fairly simple compared to the enlarger I built. It's the same controller as the enlarger used, just with a little switch here toggling between UV and visible light for the enlarger. So you toggle that switch and switch it between for two different light sources, but same controller. So that was nice and simple to wire up to this. Then power supply and a DMX decoder. That's one of the important things I'm using. For this UV exposure unit, most UV exposure units just have like all of one color LED or light bulb. Say you have the like traditional blacklight bulbs, those have one type of blacklight bulb, or you have like the new LED ones, like the ones made by Contast editions, they'll have single 365 nanometer wavelength LEDs. I actually have two wavelength LEDs I'm using, both 365 and 395. And what that allows me to do is, with pyro developed negatives, there's a curve of the density that it gets denser the deeper the UV gets. And basically that means more contrast the deeper the UV. So I noticed that when I'm using like a 395 nanometer dominant blacklight bulb, I get less contrast than I got with a 365 nanometer Contast edition's UV exposure unit. So I've wired up both 395 and 365 to this, and that allows me to switch between the two and like vary them to get any graded contrast between those two grades of contrast. There's like probably about like 3 grades of contrast achievable just by changing light source. So that means no dichromates or other toxic chemicals needed to change contrast with this exposure unit if you're using a pyro negative. Other negatives, it's just normal, you need still other stuff, but with pyro negatives, you can switch contrast without needing to do any other chemistry, which I think would be really nice and safer, much safer than using dichromates and whatnot. So yeah, power supply gets power in from there, plugged into the wall, and then a DMX decoder, which has an XLR cable that goes to the control unit here. Then you'll notice these little junction boxes on the side. The power goes from the power supply to the decoder. The decoder then sends it out in 2 different channels to either side. One side is wired 365 to it, the other side has 395 wired to it. When I control things with here, I can vary the amount they turn on and off. So that it's with PWM dimming, it's pulse width modulation dimming. I can turn them on and off really fast to vary the brightness. And by doing that, I can change the contrast levels between the two limits. If I lift it up for a second, you can see the LEDs. Got 395 wired up on that side and 365 on this side, and they just go across. It's 16 24-inch strips of each color. So again, I think it's a 16 by 24 inch 16 by 24 inch light source size. And then if I'll leave it up for now so I can show you them turning on. Again, this is UV, so I have a special UV safety glasses I'm wearing right now, so don't look at this. Well, you can look at the video, of course, but don't look at UV sources without these safety glasses on. If I go into here, I haven't changed the labels yet. So green is 395 and blue is 365, kind of the closest equivalent colors, because kind of blue is deeper and green is higher. I guess that's why I chose that. But if I set blue to say, let's say 250 brightness, and I toggle it on with focus mode, you can see that those LEDs lit up, so off and on. If I turn green on to 250, those lit up as well, you can tell. Then blue off, or 365 off, you see now it's a 395 on. And I can change the brightness to any level between 0 and 32,600 something or other. It's 15-bit dimming is what I have programmed with currently. 8-bit dimming is probably not quite enough levels of brightness to get all the different enough separation between the different levels, and 16-bit is probably too much. 15-bit is also too much, but it's the max. I have choices between 8 and 15, so I did 15. Because that will give me plenty of room. That's 32,000 levels of brightness. Don't think I'm ever going to need that many levels of brightness. But if I turn on full brightness, say blue at 32,000, which is roughly the maximum, that's how bright it gets. I'm missing some LEDs over there. That's fine. I can replace those later. Yeah. And then green, 30,000. There's them both on at full brightness. Quite bright. But yeah, that's my exposure unit. Ask any questions you might have. I'm always happy to answer them.